You are listening to Eat Meat Sparingly, a Word of Wisdom podcast. I am your host, Ali Essig. Welcome. I am so excited because this week we have a guest. We have Carolyn Cooper, who is the founder of the Simply Align method. Now, I met Carolyn because we were both on a similar podcast, actually. I was listening to the Through the Veil podcast with Ellen Camille when Carolyn was interviewed, and there's so many things that she said that resonated with me. I have always been passionate about helping people change and what is preventing them from doing what they know they need to do. Usually, if it's they know they need to eat plant-based but can't do it. And I've been obsessed with learning different methods. And I really love Carolyn's approach to energy work in a lot of ways. It's more about aligning your energy. She actually was a guest on in February. This is crazy. I happened to listen to her podcast episode in July, just randomly, and then quickly looked her up, found out she was having a training, quickly signed up for it, and fell in love with her because not only is she who she is, but she also lives in the Washington, D.C. area, like I do. She's also a mom of five. Is it five kids? She's a mom of five kids. She's from Utah, just like I am. And she's also plant-based. So first I want to hear from Carolyn why she was and how long you've been plant-based, what brought you that way, and then how that has led you to where you are today and how it all kind of intertwines. So I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, awesome. I'm so excited to be here, Ali. Thank you. Well, if I go way back, 50 years ago, way back when I was like 14, literally my parent, I shared a room with my sister upstairs in our house. And I was like, I can't share a room with her anymore. So my mom and dad built me this room in the basement, in our unfinished basement, which was perfect, I thought, but it was right underneath our kitchen. And I soon found out that there was one thing not great about it, and that was on Sundays. My mom made a roast every single Sunday, roast potatoes, gravy. My mom and dad. My dad was a good cook too. But anyway, after a few months, I realized I don't like that smell. Like I was just so sick of the smell. People probably, it's a first world problem. And people probably think, what? You're sick of the smell of beef? But it just always smelled like cooking cow to me. Well, I remember this so vividly, standing in my basement bedroom all by myself one Sunday with that smell coming in through the vent. And I put my hands on my hips and said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a vegetarian. And then I forgot about that and never, I was like, it was just a weird kid thing that I said. But what you think about, you bring about. It must have stuck in my noggin here. And subconsciously that had been working ever since. But when then I grew up and got married and had babies and tried to eat healthy. I taught fitness for over 20 years. And my dad was a chiropractor. So I was raised the wider the bread, the sooner you're dead and stuff like that, to take good care of your body and your spine has one way to be in alignment, but a lot of ways to be out of alignment. My dad also taught me that your body talks to you. Your body has so much wisdom. Just listen to it. It'll tell you what it needs. I was blessed to grow up learning that. I realized when I got older that a lot of people don't have that because they'll just do anything a medical person tells them to do, sometimes without listening to their body. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I was just raised a little bit differently, I realized. So yes, I was healthy and trying to eat healthy, but we were still eating meat and stuff. And then when it was about 38 years ago, I can't think of the year right off the top of my head, but when my son, who is now 35, it was about almost a year before I got pregnant with him. So a year and then the 9 months pregnant. And I don't know why I remember that. Oh, I do know why I remember that. I remember writing that in my journal once because 9 months gestation. And I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? I prepared my body for 9 months and then I was pregnant for 9 months. So anyway, that's how long ago it was. I read Diet for a New America by John Robbins, as in the Baskin Robbins guy that went away from his family, left the fame and fortune to teach about healthy eating. Anyway, I read that book. It's a big old thick book. And I devoured it. I was like, yes, I agree with that. Yeah, it was like my body already knew these things. My brain, like I had known that before from somewhere. And it just, I'm like, that's it. I'm doing it. I've always wanted to do it. And so, Ali, at that time, I mean, now you can go to Walmart or any grocery store and get almond milk or soy milk or cashew milk. I mean, there's so many kinds of non-dairy milk now. back then there wasn't, and our town wasn't that big. So finally a natural grocers came in and I could go to natural grocers and actually buy almond milk, because it wasn't like I couldn't just get everything I needed for a plant-based diet at my regular grocery store down the street, because they didn't have it back then. It seemed a lot harder. But I just started changing recipes out. Like I know you've taught this too, like using beans instead. Anything, I went through all my recipes, and anything that had ground beef in them, like a lot of casseroles kind of have ground beef. And I would say, I wonder what this would taste like with brown rice instead. So I never knew the timing. I'm not a great cook. I never knew the timing of, can I put the rice right in the pan? So I would cook the rice first and then just mix it all up. But it turned out delicious. I just started using brown rice instead of ground beef, beans or chickpeas, lentils. I just started substituting things in, so it didn't seem like anything was missing. And my husband he was okay with it. Now he's plant-based. He has been for years and years. Usually he has to kind of check things out first and then but he was fine with it. And the kids were just happy to be getting dinner on the table. So that's kind of how it started out. I did have a little glitch when I was 39 and I was pregnant with my fifth baby. And my midwife kept telling me, you need more protein. You need more protein. She wasn't a nutritionist. I kind of knew that, but at the same time, I was like, plants have protein. I'm getting plenty of protein from my plants. But I added in a little bit of tuna. I'm like, well, okay, because I knew I was going to be 40 when I had this baby. I hadn't had a baby for 8 years. I'm like, I want to make sure I'm doing everything right. So I listened to what she said. So I added in for probably a little over a year there. I added in tuna, and then my husband I didn't like to cook it, but cook chicken like maybe once a week. We'd have some kind of chicken with our dinner and stuff. So I can't say I've been totally vegetarian for all those years. It's like, well, except a little detour for a couple of years there. But yeah, that's kind of where I come from. And I love your way of teaching about having some flexibility. That baby that I had when I was 40, probably a few years after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to recommit myself to this because I feel better. My brain works so much better when my body is clear. And your body can do the autophagy, like it can clean out all the extra junk that's in there in your brain and your organs. Like it will automatically do that. It's a self-healing machine. It does that so much better when it doesn't have a bunch of sugar and fat and all sorts of stuff put in there. So I remember recommitting when all those years ago, about 20 years ago now, and I went really strict vegan for a while. And I don't care if my family did or not. I had football player high school boys, and they ate what was at home, but they went out with their friends and had burgers or burritos or whatever, and that's fine. I wasn't strict on my kids at all. So
that's amazing. And how long were you strict like that?
Gosh, many years. And then I don't know, maybe till I moved to DC. And I'm still pretty strict. Like I don't have any meat. Like meat doesn't interest me at all. People say sometimes, don't you miss it? And I'm like, no, I don't. Like I don't even think about it. Like it's not, it doesn't affect me. Like a friend was asking me that a while back. And I'm like, well, it's like if you're out with friends and they're having an alcoholic drink, but you don't drink alcohol. It's not like you're like, oh, maybe I should have that. It's like you just don't think about it. You're okay if they have it, but you don't think about it. I'm like, that's how I am with food. And sometimes when we're out with people, they'll say, oh, are you okay if I have a burger? Like, okay. Like, I don't care what other people do. That's totally fine. And usually I'll just respond with, are you okay if I don't? And then they see like, oh yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I think the easiest way for me to stay like in alignment with eating healthy is just having a green smoothie. My husband's super good at this. Every night he mixes up a green smoothie. He's an early riser. He goes to work early and all that, but he does his green smoothie every night and puts it in the fridge. So it's just easy. And I'm like, I need to do it at night because sometimes in the morning I get going and then I forget or I don't get it made and I feel so much better if I'm on track and I'm just having a smoothie. every morning. For one thing, it's the fiber I need, it's the greens that I need, and it's delicious and it fills me up till noon and I don't even have to think about it. The thing I'm trying to get better at is just making it at night. As soon as he's done doing he likes to make his own. He doesn't like the way I do smoothies, and they're exactly the same. Anyway.
Love that. I've never, does it separate? Because usually if I like let it sit, it like separates, or you can just mix it up and it's fine.
Yeah, he just shakes it up and yeah. Good.
That's like such a great tip. I've never thought about that before. I have noticed when we do that sometimes for our family that if I add a little bit of silken tofu, it's almost like an emulsifier. Like it does keep it from separating too, and it makes it creamier. So interesting.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So tell me a little bit more. Since in your line of work, you also help with a lot of other people who are trying to eat healthier, and what it is. First of all, what it is that you do, and second of all, how you find these two paths intersecting to try and eat healthier, but not being able to do it, and how you kind of help people work through that.
Oh, great question. Okay, so I've done energy healing for, I don't know, like 30 years, but online for 22 or 23. I don't know, a long time. And I've traveled and taught a lot of people and all of that. And the three main things that always come up that us humans want help with are money and relationships and health. And they're all very important, but without your health, none of the other stuff really matters. Usually when I work with people, it's not like you have people coming saying, "Oh, I love what you teach. I want to go more plant-based." Occasionally I'll have somebody who knows I'm plant-based and they'll ask me about it. But most of the time it's people who want to lose weight. And they're like, "I've tried everything. I can't do it." And so there's the yo-yo diet. The yo-yo diet is because something in your subconscious is telling you it's not safe to be thin, or it's, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, this isn't who I am. And so they can do the diets and lose the weight, and then the weight comes back on because their brain still has that old story going on. So what I do is I help get underneath that whole diet thing and go, it's not, or maybe it's above, I don't know. I get in the energy and go, what is the belief? What is the belief? And most of the time it's not conscious. So people don't know what the belief is, but I'll sometimes have my coaching clients, because I have coaching and healing, I kind of combine it mostly, but sometimes I'll just have them as an assignment, write out 20 things. I am the type of person who, and I am the type of person who, and make it positive. And that's hard for people to do 20 of those sometimes. Like they'll come back the next week and go, that was kind of hard to come up with those. But really, if it's just like, who do you want to be? I'm the type of person who loves being healthy, who loves exploring healthier foods, who wants to learn about healthier ways of living. And sometimes it's not even plant-based because that's one step further for a lot of people. But it's when your brain is on board, it makes all the rest of it so much easier. Like you can do it. You can force yourself to do it, kind of against your will or against some of the thoughts, but also making it like, this is fun. This is expansive, not expanding the body, but expanding the mind and the brain instead of making it a chore. Like I just try to help get to the core of that. And I don't know if you want me talking about this, but I'm going to say it. You're going to cut it out if you want to. So, I do a lot of generational healing, which it's been proven scientifically that we inherit emotions through our ancestors' DNA. And there is almost always some generational healing that needs to go on with this, because a lot of us have ancestors that either starved to death or had really lean times, or back in the day, it wasn't cool to have a thin wife, to be the thin wife, because that you were a peasant and that made you look poor. And so the rich people were more plump. And that showed on the outside. So yeah, I've cleared all sorts of generational stuff from people with that makes a huge difference. And of course, it's unconscious to them. They weren't aware of that, but you clear it and things become easier for them. They're like, oh, I actually kind of like eating this way. I'm really getting into making a green smoothie and for every morning. So it's really fun to see the shift and the change in people, because there's the physical part of actually doing it. But there's energy behind everything. There are emotions and there's thoughts and there's beliefs and there's agreements we've made with ourselves at some point in our life that just need to be cleaned up.
This is so fascinating because life coaching is really popular right now. And I think that's really helpful too, just focusing on your thoughts. But I like that the idea that there's more layers than that. Like we can change our thoughts, we can change our beliefs, but there could be even more that we need to correct and change that are it's subconscious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And I like how you explain energy work because I kind of always been scared of it. You know what I mean? It feels like satanic or something not helpful. But your approach is, I love that it's like you're just aligning. It's like your computer when it gets bogged down with all these podcast episodes that you downloaded, you didn't even know. Now it's working really slowly. And all it is just like deleting stuff that you're carrying that you don't need to carry anymore. And
Upgrading the program.
yeah. So can you tell me more about that and about even just like the history of that? Like, how do we know it's not just all made up? You know what I mean? Like, how do we know that this really is it like an actual thing that we can address and work on?
Yeah. Well, how do we know that about anything, really? It's not just all made up. Yeah. So, like, I got into energy work when I remember everything in times of my kids. Let's see, my fourth child was 3 years old. That's how my brain remembers timelines. But yeah, many years ago. And it just felt right to me. Like how I told you when I read Diet for a New America, I was like, oh, I know that my spirit knows this stuff. Like this just is obvious. That's how I felt when I first started learning energy work. Like it just made sense to me. I always knew that. There's a telepathic communication. We have all these miles of nervous system energy. Of course, we're always giving and receiving energy from other people. Of course, you can walk in a room and tell if someone was in an argument there, even if their body language isn't telling it. You can feel it. You can feel if someone's saying, oh, you're talking too long, get on with it. Or we sense that. It just seemed right to me. I am aware because I'm a Christian woman and I am aware that a lot of people think it's weird and occult. And I think I have a thick skin because when I grew up, my dad was a chiropractor, like I said earlier, and I would go to friends' homes. I remember like more than once this happened. Oh, who's your dad? Oh, who's your parents? What does your dad do? Oh, he's that back quacker, eh? So I knew people thought chiropractic was really weird back in the 60s and 70s. But I knew it wasn't. I knew it helped me feel better. I knew I had warts on my feet one time for a while, and my dad says, well, let me just adjust you. He adjusted me. And within a few days, they all just literally fell off and never came back again. And like I had so many proofs that, wow, that really works, that I just got a thick skin for I don't care what other people say or what they think because they're uninformed about it. And so I think that built my capacity to be able to just let it roll off my back if people say this is wrong, this is weird. And yeah, I'm a prayerful person. It does not take the place of prayer. It's to me it's like exercise. It's just another tool we can do to keep ourselves healthy. Like people don't think counseling's of the occult, but I'm like, well, it's really similar to counseling or coaching, except there's a lot more intuition with it. I've always just seen things in letters, numbers, and not everybody who comes to my class has that gift. We all have different types of gifts that people are so happy to get to use when they're like, oh, I never dared talk to anybody about this. But those are gifts from God. And so I know He wants us to use them. So just being able to help people in the ways that I feel blessed to be able to do that is just, I'm so grateful for it. I'm sorry. What was your question?
No, I love it because I think it's a lot of people are scared of it. And so just your perspective is it doesn't replace religion. This is not like you do this instead of prayer. You do this like you exercise. You do this like you use any other tool. You go to a coach. It's just a different method. And I think some people resonate really well with life coaching. Some people resonate really well with therapy. And some people resonate really well with just this energetic work because they're doing all of the thought work, but realizing that it's actually something that's really more held in their body energetically. And so how do you know that this could be something that's blocking your progress? Like what are kind of some signs when people are trying to make a change or trying to improve and they're doing all the things, they're doing everything that they should be doing right, and it's just not working? How can you know that maybe this is something you should try and apply?
Well, that's funny because you just answered that question. That's how, when you've tried everything and it just feels like you're pushing and pushing, like pushing the boulder up the hill. And it's like, there's something more stuck. There are more beliefs about that need to be cleared out. And sometimes they're just stuck. I always say the issues in your tissues. Every kind of disease starts with energy somewhere. There's always an emotional component to it. Like the frequency is off. Like something's off with the frequency and the energy. Is that from an emotion that got stuck? Because there's emotions that have high resonating vibrations. That's why we love music at church and why they play prelude to hymns and stuff like that, because it raises our vibration. And then there's fear and doubt and anger and those that we don't feel good, because that's not our home base. That doesn't feel good to us. I always say, are you living above the line or living below the line? And if you're below the line, and sometimes that's just confusion, doubt, or pushing, and I can't get this to work, and I'm trying to get this to work, and why is this not working for me, and what's holding me back? Like they feel stuck is usually the word that I hear people say. Like I feel stuck. And I think people usually aren't actually stuck. They just feel stuck because they think they need certainty. You do need clarity, but you don't always need, I mean, none of us have absolute certainty on anything. To answer your question about how do they know if there's something more, you feel it. You feel it in your gut. Like your brain is saying something's off here, something's misaligned here. Maybe people don't use those words exactly for it, but they can feel like, I need a little help with this, or I need something's off. And sometimes just changing one little thing, like go for a walk every day for the next couple days, or drink more water. You probably need some water, or change what you're cool it on some of the cheese, or whatever. But just stuff like that. But also releasing the energy on it. If it's stuck energy and bound up, I see it in my mind's eye as being wound kind of tight. And I think that's why people say the word stuck, because it feels like you're tethered a little bit. And then when you unwind the energy, and I can feel somebody in my head when I'm talking saying, or as I'm saying this, one of your listeners or more is going to be saying, how do you do that?
Yeah. Right.
Well, you can come to my class and learn like the real way, or not the real way, but the easy way that I do it. But we can all do that. Like sometimes it's just movement. Sometimes it's more breathing. Give yourself 5 minutes of stillness. Oh, that's hard to do. That's kind of hard to do. That's a negative affirmation. Let's not say that. Let's say that can be tricky, but we can do it. Like just the things that make you normally feel good anyway. Say a prayer, read some scriptures, listen to a high vibe podcast. There's so many ways we can clear energy on our own, or you can do it like in a real formulaic way, not formulaic, I wouldn't say my framework, like my work has a framework to it that makes it super easy. But all of us have access to tools that we know what makes us feel better. Do more of that. It's kind of simple, really. Do more of what makes you feel more healthy and more aligned and more like your best self.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think it's fascinating because since I did your training, I don't really do it with like my clients. I just mostly do plant-based stuff. I do it a lot with my daughter she's on the spectrum. And so her energy can be really extreme, but I do even just a lot with myself. Like sometimes I'll find myself triggered by something and it's like, wait, why am I triggered? What is the emotion that's underneath this? And then I'll do some energy work. And it's interesting to see even just certain times in my life that pop up. It's like, oh, when I was 21, like the same emotion is coming. And then I'm like, oh yeah, when I was 21, I had this issue that's very similar. Or when I was 23, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of went through something similar. And it just gives me this perspective shift to what I'm going through now, and how it was similar to what I went through before and how I can release. But now that I know that before it turned out great. And so while I'm experiencing the same fear now, I can trust that it turned out okay in my past, and I can release this underlying fear or these negative emotions that I have around this change or whatever it is that's going on. And so it is interesting because it really does help you get to what is, a lot of times we're so focused on the smoke, but I feel like this really does help you get to the fire. What is the fire that's causing all this smoke, that we are becoming triggered from this and this and this? And maybe it is even just deeper from generational issues to our own timeline, different times in our past where we've gone through that. So I love that. And I love that it can be as simple as just recognizing your own energy and shifting it. It doesn't have to be this crazy woo-woo thing that sometimes we make it out to be.
Yeah. And going back to what I said before about like, I'm the type of person who, or if you do something that's not feeling good, say, oh, that's not like me. Even if you're like, well, it kind of really is. But no, because we're growing into our future self. We're going to live from our future self. Who do you want that to be? So you do have too much sugar one day and you go, oh, that's not like me. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you eat really healthy the next day and you tell yourself, of course, because that's like me. I'm that kind of person. You just kind of talk yourself through it. We have so many voices in our head talking negative to us. Why don't we just add to the conversation with something positive?
Yeah.
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 Just telling the truth in advance.
Yeah. Is there any danger to someone who's living above the line? Like that is a higher frequency, or is that what we should all be aiming for, is more of that higher frequency person?
I think that's what we're all aiming for. Yes, that's the trick of life, is like how much can we stay above the line versus below the line. Below the line is part of this mortal life, so we can't be above the line all the time. Like, it's good to have opposition, but when we catch ourselves below the line, it's like, okay, what can I do to pull myself up, or what can I reach out for to help pull myself up?
Yeah, I like that. I was going through a really difficult time during 2020, and one of my friends kind of used that example of sometimes you have to go below the line to pull out some thorns that have been stuck, like pull out some anger, frustration, guilt, whatever it is, just pull it out so that then when you go above the line, you can go even higher because you're not having that weigh you down. And I feel like it's very similar to what you do, is like to get those old thorns out of you so that you go rise even higher. I love that.
And the beauty about energy work is that energy is so intelligent and it wants to help you heal. Like, it wants you to heal. Like, it just needs a witness sometimes, or some validation that, oh, I see you, I hear you. That was painful for me. Yes, I can let you go now. Instead of holding on to it, because if that happens again, I want to be on my guard. I need to remember this. Well, we can still keep memories of stuff, but drain the emotional abscess. That the emotions don't need to be there with it. I love that you said something on your timeline from when you were 20, 21. Yeah, I just had that a couple days ago. I had some weird emotions towards another woman, and I don't know her very well. And I didn't know where they were coming from, but because I know energy, I'm like, there is something connected here. She didn't say or do anything weird, and I don't think I did either to offend her. But so that, knowing energy, I go, what is this connected to? Because things happen in our lives, and it's kind of like we store little things, and then I always see it like a guitar string, and then if something happens that's kind of similar down the road, and oftentimes it'll happen here and here and here, it'll happen several times down the road, it's kind of like that untuned, it's a guitar string out of tune, and when it gets plucked, it's like, oh, I feel that again, but I don't know why that's so strong. Well, it's strong because that's happened before in the past, and you stored that memory of those emotions somewhere. So with energy work, we're just dissipating that. We're just letting that go. And that's what I did. I call it timeline and simply align method. So it was something on my timeline when I was 32 with somebody else completely different. And I didn't know that, except we do muscle testing. So I got muscle testing. It's the way you can get answers from your body, totally legit. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, and I didn't remember the whole memory. And that's the beauty. You don't have to remember every memory. Your system knows you've got some emotion on this that wants to be cleared. Okay, I don't have to relive the whole story. It's not like therapy where you go and tell your whole story and it almost exaggerates it or multiplies it instead of simplifies things or calms things down. So anyway, I just quickly cleared it, and that was completely gone. I haven't even thought about it since then until you said that just now. I'm like, oh yeah, that was totally clear. So sometimes people ask, how do you know if something's clear? You just forget about it. It's not right there in front of you anymore. You're not ruminating on it anymore. It's gone.
What is it about energy that it needs to be witnessed before we can let it go? Why can't we just be like, just let it go all the time? Like, I tell people a lot when we go through our emotional eating course, my clients, like, the emotions, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they want to get through the tunnel. They want to pass through you and help you move you to where you need to go. But oftentimes they do get stuck. And so why is it that we need to witness them or recognize that it's there in order for them to go through the tunnel, to release?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I don't have a fantastic answer for that. I don't know why, because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I think it just depends. I'm guessing at this, but I think it's because of how that first emotion or that memory happened. Like, sometimes we don't store things. I think it depends on where we are at that time. And then other times we're just like a big foot locker that just stores all sorts of things. And it weighs us down and it makes us heavy and it keeps us from being the best we can be. But it's like food. in a sense that, until when you clear stuff that you're like, oh, I didn't even know I had that, but I feel so much better. Oh, I'm more confident now. Oh, I feel like I'm going to do this project that I've always wanted to, but I always felt held back before, or I had all these reasons why I shouldn't. Okay, like that, how it relates to food, I think, is when you start eating healthier, you learn what you didn't know you didn't know. It's like, whoa, I feel better. I didn't know my joints don't hurt anymore. Oh, it's easier to get up and down the stairs. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know I was carrying so much until I let it go.
That is so fascinating, just how powerful it can be. Okay, Carolyn, there is one thing that you told me that is so powerful that I wish everyone could hear and listen to. So, what is one big, huge takeaway with eating plant-based and intuition and how it relates that I think everyone would love to understand more?
Oh, I love this part. Huge difference in my intuition. I use intuition in my work every day. So it's how I help people because you can't see the energy. You have to sense things. And it's kind of an acquired skill. And the cleaner I eat, the better my intuition is. So I tell practitioners this sometimes when they're like, oh, I'm really working on my intuition. Like everybody wants stronger intuition, I think. But if you're eating a bunch of not good food, it doesn't help at all. And I just discovered this, like I just discovered it. I noticed it. Like when I'm working with clients, I'm like, wow, how did I know that? Ooh, that felt so good. That my whole thing in life is I hate to see people struggle. That's my big why. I hate to see people struggle. If I can help somebody, well, if I eat cleaner, it helps me to help somebody else. And I think also it's just because food is a spiritual thing. And you have a whole podcast on that. And I completely agree. I believe God put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And what did he give them? He created these beautiful bodies. He gave them a garden to fuel those beautiful bodies. So that's just the way I've always seen it. Since I was a kid, I've always thought that. If we fuel our bodies with what God provided, with things from the earth, then of course everything in our body is going to work better, including our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. But I just think heavy foods can block that. Well, in energy work, we call that the chakra system, the seventh chakra. It can block that. But when you're eating healthier, you'll notice I would just say, try going meat-free or dairy-free or both. I don't know. That's a big step for somebody for like a week and just see if you start noticing little thoughts, little ideas, little impressions. Oh, I just felt like God was leading me this way today. Like you'll notice because it opens up that channel more. What we fuel our bodies with helps us be more intuitive and more spiritual. It's a cool thing. I think that's why we have a word of wisdom is because it helps us to be closer to God.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Amen. And over again. I totally, completely agree to that. And that's been probably one of the biggest, most important side effects for me personally, going plant-based is my personal intuition and how much it has grown and increased. And usually it's more like, okay, now help this person, now help that person. Now like it. And then in doing so, it also helps me, but it really has been like opening my eyes out to how I can help others more. Just kind of like you with even with your energy work too. I love that. So good. Well, where can my listeners go to learn more from you and your method? Again, I had read like the Body Code and these other kind of energy healing type books, and I was so fascinated with it, but it seemed too complicated. And then when I met you, I'm like, yes, you are the teacher for me. I just love how simple your method is. It doesn't have to be like an app that I buy and a program that I use in order to do this work, even if it is just for myself. So where can people learn more about you? And you don't just work with energy, you also are a mindset coach. So tell me more about that and how you help people.
Well, mostly I have private clients, but I also teach trainings and I certify practitioners in my method. We have practitioners. There's a practitioner directory on my website and they're all fantastic. I love them so much. They're just really wise women and they all bring their own gifts to the work. So simplyalign.com is the best place to meet me. To find me. I'm on all the socials, but I'll be honest, I'm not a super great social media person. I mean, I'm not going to tell you, DM me, I'll get right back to you. Probably not. Eventually, maybe. I don't know. So my website is the best place to get me. I've got a great team. Any emails that come in through there, if you have any questions or whatever, they forward them to me. If they can't answer them themselves, you can reach out to me on the socials. I promise I will get back, but I'm just not on there all the time. I'm older. I didn't have that when I was younger. I didn't get in the habit of that. So
And
anyway.
if they want to listen to your podcast, what's the name of
Oh
your
yeah, and my podcast, yes. And I am going to start a Possibilities Rising is my coaching group. So we're starting a new membership for that in early, I don't know if I want to put the year on here, in early 2026, because these podcasts are evergreen. So I hate to say the year. And yeah, Catching Sunshine every week, Catching Sunshine, come over, catch a little sunshine. I did a great interview with Ali on there that you'll for sure want to hear.
Well, and I like that your episodes are pretty short. It's like it's just a quick lesson that you can learn, especially if you listen at 2x speed. It's like 10 minutes one night, you get a really good message. You have a lot of really great insight because you've been doing this work for years. And I think that's another thing. There's a lot of people, because we have the ability to be on social media and all these things. And I admire someone like you who has been doing this work, who's been helping people for such a long time, even before social media was a thing where you could just put it out on your Instagram or podcast. And so you have a lot of wisdom for a lot of people that you've helped over the years. So I always appreciate listening.
Thank you so much. I wanted something short and light because sometimes I don't feel like listening to a business podcast or a church podcast or a heavy, long podcast. And I'm like, I just want something short and light. I want a little nugget of light. And I couldn't find it. I'm sure there's a lot out there, but when I was looking, I couldn't find it. So I just created it because that's what I wanted. And it's been really fun. It's been really fun, actually.
I love it. And it's great too, because it's not all about energy healing. It really is, like you mentioned it to the side, but it is just some really great advice too. So,
oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a high performance coach too. So we got to throw some of that in there because it's all of it. It's your emotions, it's your food, it's your behaviors, it's your habits, all of it.
So true. So true. Well, thank you, Carolyn. I really appreciate having you on. And yeah, thank you so much. And I'll see everybody next week.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eat Meat Sparingly, a Word of Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, Ali Essig. And if you need more help and support with transitioning to eating more plants so you can lose weight and improve your gut health and just reduce your risk of chronic disease, then make sure to check out my PlantWise membership. That's PlantWhys, because I like to teach the why behind eating more plants. But if all you need is just a couple more delicious recipes that feed your family and everyone loves, and not to mention super simple and easy, then make sure to check out my YouTube channel, which is also PlantWise. PlantWhys. Hope to see you there.